Hi, I'm Darby Edel, and a lecturer, teacher. I have noticed a huge increase in employment of women in the kitchen over the last 25 years or so. It's not that we have a lot of girls in the kitchen now, it's just that we have more than there used to be. And I often put it down to the attitude of the individual chef, executive chef, sous chef, and the attitude that that man passes down to his staff. When I send my students on in service, my main thing is to choose a good chef. A chef who's going to be patient, who's going to realize that this is a young person coming into an industry that's foreign to them, and that this person will need encouragement and teaching. And not all individual men will do this, although, as I say, there has been a change. So perhaps it is the role of the individual chef to now encourage his male staff to accept these women coming into the kitchen, because as Anne said, we need to encourage them and to grow them as opposed to squash them. And then once they get their self-confidence, they'll fly. They've got stamina, and yeah, I think you'll change your industry for the better. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I want to make one comment about that. I think the best kitchens I've ever worked in, and I've worked in a bunch and run a lot of them over these last 30 some odd years, are balanced kitchens. You know, the days in those kitchens that are all men, where the kitchens are like locker rooms, you know what? Those are the kitchens where you have a lot of absenteeism and tardiness oftentimes, where the kitchen oftentimes isn't very clean or as clean as it could be, when there's a lot of sort of this, you know, male testosterone running around in that kitchen. And you know what? I think it's really worth the time and energy it takes to have a balanced kitchen. You'll find it runs better. You'll find people are working together more. You'll find it's usually cleaner and more organized. And I think that's the same with life. I mean, I think that, you know, we need balance. And I think when we take the time to have kitchens that are balanced, they run the best, they look the best, they produce the best food, and they make the most money. So I think we all can think about that. More questions? Or
from me over here from Asia, is this Continental Director. I think we look at two ends of the spectrum. I'm listening to the conversation, but I think we look at two ends of the spectrum. I'm listening to the conversation, but we've talked about just one part. Where do we find a middle management team? Our senior chef de parties and junior sous chefs. There seems to be a vacuum, and it just doesn't itemise towards females. It's even to the male gender. Anything that we see in our global structure today with companies reorganising, the first thing to get cut is the training budget, and the last thing to get reinstated is the training budget. So when people cannot see a career path, they spend money on a tertiary education, they come out 2 years into their working career path, they're looking where a corporate identity or a private identity may be. We'll try put them, as we said, mentoring on a pathway, and a lot of times this comes short. Those that are doing a very good job in this area at the moment are franchisees. Starbucks, Coffee Bean, they do upsell. They motivate young people to say, you can do better. Our major corporations and large identities, I feel, work on our brand, but we forgot about what is the soul and heart of the kitchen. It is the people. And this issue here, when it gets addressed one day, and I feel what WACS is trying to do moving forward with Train the Trainer and our education part, will put a pressure back to industry to realise, and this will solve some of the discussion points that I've heard here today. I think also, as we've discussed about women in WACS, it's not also just in being inclusive to say that you're wearing a white chef's jacket. With respect, Anna is sitting on the panel, who is from Singapore and is a food nutritionist. In my capacity as executive chef of Singapore Airlines, on a daily basis we're doing 4,000 medical meals. We have a spectrum of 110 different varieties. We do 350 non-standard meals for scratch every day because somebody's got peanut allergy, got salsalites, got all sorts of things. More and more connected as in a global community as we move forward. We as chefs also must encompass and embrace that there are other certain disciplines within our realm of food i.e. like dietitians, and most that I have met with respect are females. And for the modern day chef going forward, and that we work in a global community where things are happening between restaurant A to restaurant B, from country to country, there is a philosophy, there's a driven of what we expectations to happen, that we must also embrace different disciplines of within the food industry to come. So as far as I'm concerned, women in wax is very important, but I think we also must acknowledge, as I said earlier, education plays a key role for the succession, one, of young men, and also for the one of young women. Thank you.
Great. Can I?
Okay, thanks, John. That was a good leeway for me to come in, because I really was wondering what I'm doing here with all the chefs, okay? All right, I've worked 24 years, worked with several chefs, and I really have a real respect for you guys. That's why I'm here. But I think the challenge you will have going forward as a community will be providing the right kind of food for your clients. There will be greater and greater pressure on you to provide healthier food. And before it becomes legislated on you all, like, you know, we have trans fat bans in New York, I think it's important for you to reach out to people within the other allied fields, like the nutritionists, the agricultural people, the food technologists, in order to be prepared for the new future of food, which will include providing healthier food. I just want to leave this one thought with you. I mean, when I was small, we used to hear this little proverb that said, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. But I think it's in the way we are eating today, with 1 to 3 meals eaten outside the home and prepared by people within your profession, we need to begin to think about what you're doing to the health of people long term. And I'd like to leave you with this one thought, which is the hands that feed the people will rule the nation's health, okay, or the health of the nation. So you have an awesome responsibility, and we want to be partners in that. So I hope you will keep nutrition education as part of your big curriculum, and that's where all the women are, okay?
Well, and I think as we look at it, it's all an evolution. It's all an evolution of where we're going. And that's what inclusivity is about. I heard a quote the other day that said that change is not a criticism of the past. That means you aren't being criticized. It just says that we do need to change, and that means the future will be a little different. And that's what evolution is about. And I think that's what this incredible industry is about, and this incredible profession. And as we become more inclusive, especially with the nutritionists and the auxiliary people that make us better in the industry of feeding people. So do I turn it back to you, Ferdinand?
Well, thank you very much. It was a wonderful discussion. I thank everybody on the panel, Anne and Debbie and Diane, for participating in this program and giving it a very dynamic twist to it. I think the subject is a very important one for the World Federation, and hopefully we can look back one of these days saying, you were there when it all started, and hopefully there comes a day when we don't have to talk about it anymore. So again, thank you very much for participating in this important program, and with that I'm turning it over to the guy who's looking at his cell phone right now. Andy, how are you? Do you have any housekeeping items to take care of? We all good?
We're all good.
Are we closing the session?
I think we should.
Is there everybody in favor that we go home? Okay, thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. See you in the morning. Thank you very much.